evaluate Jerome Kimani. He'll be attempting Project 4 of the Competent Communicator Manual. This speech is covering how to say it. The title of his speech is Do Something. However, the objectives this evening for this speech is to use words and arrangement of words that effectively communicate his message to the audience this evening, is to use rhetorical devices to enhance and emphasize ideas, and finally, to eliminate jargons and unnecessary words. Jerome has 5 to 7 minutes to deliver his speech. The title, as I'd mentioned, is Do Something. Do Something, Jerome Kimani. Jerome Kimani, Do Something.
If you know me, or if you've interacted with me on this platform, you'd know that. Well, that's not the case today. It has nothing to do with the state that my team, Arsenal, is in, but it has everything to do with the state that the world is in right now. Now, I'd like you to stop and think about all of the atrocities that are happening in the world right now. The fact that we are in lockdown means that life has slowed down enough for us to see them. Countries are falling apart. People are being killed left, right, and center. There's police brutality, racism, poor healthcare, corruption, all happening before our very eyes. You acknowledge these things are happening, correct? You've seen all of these social evils happening in front of your very eyes, yeah? So my question is, why don't you do something about it? Yes, I'm talking to you. Why don't you do something about it? Okay, you know what? Let me take a step back and let me phrase it more of an invitation. You listening to this and me who is speaking to change the world. Otherwise, we're not going anywhere. Of course, okay, Jerome, now let's ask you, what am I going to do? How do I start? Where do I start? Where do I change the world? And why does it have to be me who does something, not the people who actually have the power to do so? Those are good questions. Let me start with what you can do. Start small. Look at all of those things more developed than ours. So that means that the common factor in all of this is the fact that these things are being done by people. People are the problem. If we have to change the world, we have to change people. Now think about this. How many times have you met somebody once and they completely change the course of your life? Probably you can count that on one hand, you know. But how many times do you stop and realize that the person you are right now are two totally different people simply because of the people you spend your time with? That shows that the people who change you the most are the people around you, self-influence. So if you have any hope of change in the world, we have to change them. Those are the people who you drink keg with, the people who you play FIFA with, the people who you tag on memes in Instagram and Twitter. Those are the people who, if you want to change the world, you have to start by changing. Now, that's how. No, that's what. Now, how do we do it? How do we start? Now, this part, no means yet. We have to change the world. We have to change the people around us by changing ourselves. We have to be the change we wish to see in the world, like Mahatma Gandhi said. Furthermore, Teddy Roosevelt said that great thoughts speak only to the thoughtful mind, but great actions speak to all mankind. That very lucidly, the fact that we don't know the power of our own example. By actually raising our standards, by actually being better ourselves, we make those around us better naturally. It just tends to happen. And how do we become better? By growing in virtues, in good habits, by changing every day in something small, punctuality, honesty, you know, all of those small little things that make you a better person. And you know, the funny thing about that is that you think you'd be changing yourself, but actually virtues make you more of yourself. Funny way to put it, yeah? St. Thomas Aquinas, the great philosopher, said that virtue is ultimum potentiae, which is the most a man can be of himself. That just shows that by getting better, being more of yourself, well into our theme for which is be as you are. Now, the last question is why? Why should I do this? Why can't I just stay the way I am? Well, I hate to tell you this, but if you don't change, if you don't do something, if you don't become better, well, you're screwed anyway. Excuse my French. If you've lived in life long enough, you know that life is basically a very cruel, cold, and chaotic place. If we do nothing, well, you will just, life will just move you back anyway. Nature shows through this concept called entropy that if you leave something alone, doing nothing in an environment, it tends toward decay, towards disorder, particularly if it's made of living matter, which we are. So you might as well just pick a struggle, do something, lift a load, move it from here to there. And maybe you think, well, as much as life is meaningless, as much as I'm worthless, at least I did that. And particularly if it was something big, and big is all of the struggles you guys go through, you'll actually be like, I did something. And if you do it for other people, even better. Because like Okia Omtata, the activist, said, when you come into the world, change something, even if it means removing a thorn from the road so that the person without shoes is not pricked by it. So, Jerome, you've talked on about what we should do, how we should do it, why do we have from? Good question. Starting in December, I'm going to be giving a series of talks that I've received, basically which talk about the practical how, the why, and the what of changing the world by changing ourselves. The topics are just basically ethics and virtues. And we're just going to talk about it for an hour and a half, maybe every week. And I ask that this knowledge I was given, I just give it to you. All you need to do is commit to listen. You can sign up, talk to me afterwards, and let's see where this goes. We have to do something. We might as well start by knowing something, because we have one less excuse not to do something. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, the fate of the world is in the balance. We need a revolution. We actually need a revolution of manly men and wonder women to change this world. So question is, are you in? Madam Toastmaster, are you in? You don't have to answer that. Back to you.